Welcome to Ella's Beefeaster's Radio Air Check and Classic TV channel.
I hope you had a nice weekend, and this is Conversations.
I know we only met just the other day, but I'm hoping that this love song will help me find a way.
It was so much fun when we used to do tours, and we had a girl with us, and it was really quite a tour company. It was back when I first came to Florida to Kinsman, and we had, Laurie Hafer, we had Michelle Anastasia. And I used to sing this with Michelle, and one day she was sick. And so the show's going on, and we said, well, what are we going to do? And I said, I'll have to sing it by myself. Well, I didn't know how it would go, but then a little later I heard Neil Diamond do it by himself in concert overseas in Europe. So I thought, well, Neil wrote it. If he can, I don't know if he wrote it or not, but he sang it anyhow. And if he can do it by himself, let me see what happens here with me. So with a girl on the sick list, I walked out on the stage, and here's what we sang. You don't bring me flowers. You don't sing me love songs. Don't send me flowers anymore. Well, E for effort anyhow, huh? E for effort. That's a beautiful song. I understand it didn't go too well in the studio between Barbara and Neil when they recorded it, but great song, great song. Conversations on a Sunday evening. In this business, you never really know what to expect, and I came to work today. And I see here's a plastic bag, and it says Iwo Jima. Volcanic sand from the island. And you know, I hold that in my hand because I had several friends who were in the Marines on Iwo Jima. Lou Annunziata, one of them. And it's a very strange feeling to have this sand from Iwo Jima that claimed so many lives during the Second World War. And this is from John Tuchert, T-E-U-C-H-E-R-T. He's the past president of the Florida Chapter, 4th Marine Division in Barefoot Bay. Johnny, thank you so very much. I shall treasure this. And this is one of the most unusual things that I have ever received. As many times as I recall the story on television, as many times as I've seen it repeated, we tend to forget. We tend to forget what these men have done. And really, can you put yourself in a position? I can, because I was in the Air Force in the Korean War. I had two brothers in the Second World War. You go in the service and you're a serial number. And you are ruled by that serial number, and you find yourself in the most unusual circumstances, simply because that number was called and it was pooled and you were selected to do this or that. And I often wonder if I would have had the courage that these men had when they found out that their number had been called, and to go and face this immense enemy and all of the intense fire, arms, cannon, bombs, planes. I don't think that you can imagine it. And no one ever really wants to talk about it because they just as soon forget it. But we got to talk about it. And we got to remember it. And remember it for a long, long time. Thank you, Johnny. The sand from Iwo Jima. I never thought I'd hold it in my hand. I got a friend I know I'm going to share some of it with, Lou Annunziata. Conversations on the Ocean.
Fighting soldiers from the sky, fearless men who jump and die, men who mean just what they say. Have him win the Green Beret.
Oh, it's big. The big number one. Ocean. WOSN. Herb Oscar Anderson and Conversation. First and foremost, and well be it, Herb Oscar, Conversation, on the first and foremost ocean. Have I told you lately that I love you on 97.1, the ocean in Conversation? I got up bright and early this morning to say, I've got a song for you tonight on Conversations on the ocean.
Once I had a secret love that lived within the heart of me.
I've always been a kind of a would-be songwriter. I was talking to another friend who is a songwriter, and I said, "How do you get in the mood?" He said, "Well, you find something that is mysterious, that sets a pace and a tone." I said, "What do you often think of?" He says, "Well, the old country singers, they always just used to think of that whistle in the night, the train in the night, you know." And come to think of it, when you do it, it does set the scene. It does set the scene. It brings you right down to whatever you want it to be, a cold winter night. And, of course, the train is going up the tracks, and the stars. It's got to be a clear night, though. The stars really have to be twinkling, and the snow is so hard that it crunches under your feet. And the bed is so warm, and the quilt is so thick, and the pillow is so soft. And then you hear it, that magical sound. It was 11 o'clock. I remember it well because 11 o'clock, it was scheduled to go through that town, 3 miles away. But it was so close on a cold winter night. And not only that, it wasn't diesel, I wasn't cheating. It was a steam whistle. Oh, what a difference in sound. To hear that mighty steam engine go roaring across the countryside with belching forth that whistle sound, unlike any that you've ever heard before. It had to send the chills up your spine. And you were so glad that you were in bed. You were so glad for the room, so glad for the roof, so glad for a warm life, that you had nothing to do but to get in the mood to write a song. Ah, the train whistle, the train whistle, the train whistle.
Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central, Monday morning rail.
When I was doing votes, I was always amazed at certain songs that brought people to the dance floor, and you could almost tell if they liked them or not, if it was their favorite song. And this was always one of them, and it's a very simple version that I sing with. And so I tell you what, let's see if you remember this. In its simple version, it was called Venus. And I mean, we don't have a big band or anything, but I think you'll like it. You want to sing the first, I'll sing the second. I want to hear you now. Come on, you know it. Remember it? Good. But that's what I get paid for, ladies and gentlemen. All those years on the ocean, remembering them the way it should be. 97.1, a great radio station. And we're on the net. We're all over the world right now, which is so good. Make sure that you let your friends know that we're back. They're so astonished that I'm back on the air. Well, really, so am I. But, so let's just have this get together, and it's on for a week, so don't feel you have to just listen to this one show at this one particular time, because it's a podcast and it's on for a week, so whatever they're doing, they'll be able to hear it. 97.1, we got to sing out. At the end of the rainbow, you'll find your pot of gold.